So I'm going to show you a movement that will help improve your ability to push off in the back leg. So running, jumping, sprinting, changing direction, you need to understand how to use your foot and big toe properly all the way up the chain. So your foot, knee, and hip have to be working in unison to make those movements feel amazing. So why is that important? A lot of ankle, knee, and hip issues come from the inability for you to push with your big toe as you're either pushing off walking or running, or changing direction, or even trying to jump and land. So that pattern being bad over and over and over time actually sends shock up the chain. So I'll show you here with Terrence, when he jumps and lands, if his toes are not able to bend when he's jumping, if they're like closed up and like that, over time, just keep hitting the ground, it's gonna put shear on his knee like that, and then also on his hip. Show you his hip here. It's gonna be going in like that. If all of that's happening, his pelvis is going to be this way, crunching his low back. So he's going to have chronic low back pain, probably some knee issues, and he could chronically keep twisting his ankles also. So we want to teach you this movement to help make those things move smoothly together. All right, so this is how you do the movement. So we're going to work 4 different positions. I'll show you that. What you'll need is a bench and a block to start, but we can also do it on the floor. I'll show you that as well. So the first step is on my bench, I have a block here, and I want to make sure that I bend my toes as much as I can possibly bend them down onto the bench. So that's first. I want to try to get them all bent this way. And see, I'm kind of flush here against the block. And I want to keep my heel over the big toe, also the knee over the big toe. And I'm going to grab hold to the bench, starting in like a 90-degree angle here with my knees. And the first job that I have is to actually press my toes down into the bench. So I want to try to drive straight down this way. And once I drive that way, I'm going to lift the knee up off of the bench just a bit. And you're just going to hold that, pressing down. Once you've got down, looking great, you're going to start to push back. So I want to push the wall away from me. So I'm pushing down and back. So that's what my leg is doing here. And just to kind of connect the entire chain, think about your shoulders as well. You want to pull them into your hip pocket and kind of go into a little bit of an angry cat. So not this way, but rounded this way. And that's going to give you a lot more power in your push. And your standing leg is just standing flat on the ground while you're holding here, and just lift up the arch. So you're going to hold this. We're going to prescribe you the amount of time you're going to hold it, but we want to keep building this up to 2 minutes per position here. So once I've passed my time that I need to hold it, I'm going to walk it forward just a bit. And the same thing. So shoulders to my hips, big toe pressed down and pressing back. And I want to keep my knee here going in. You can kind of see the hip, the femur here is rotating in for me to push back more. Hold that for my prescribed time. And then I'll come forward a little bit more. Same connection. So I like to start with my shoulders, then my hip, drive the foot down and then back. You're going to start to feel your shin, your hamstring, your glute, and your quad big time. You should feel this burning. If you're not feeling that burn, check all of your check boxes again to make sure that you're driving the toes down first and then pushing back. Then the last position is going to be straight leg. Same thing. Drive down with the toes, push back, and stay with the knee going over the big toe. Now this is teaching me how to actually push off. Whether I'm walking, running, sprinting, jumping, or changing direction, this is super important to keep this connection. So once you finish your time in those 4, if you need to take a break, you can. Otherwise, you're starting at the top, straight leg, and then you're gonna go all the way back to your starting position. So keep holding for the prescribed amount of time. This is the second position going back. Then I'll come back to this one, same thing. Toes drive down, push back, and then back to my 90-degree position. Cool, and we'll do that on both legs, of course. And that's if you're on a bench. All right, so if we want to do the single leg push off on the ground, you'll need a mat and your block. You have the same foot setup as you were if you were on the bench. Pulling your toes all the way down. And I like to kind of give myself a little help by just kind of pressing down in the heel to make sure that I am pressing down and know what that feels like. Then I get into kind of the quadruped position. And both knees will be kind of even, a little bit of a stagger with the opposite foot. So first things first is to press down with the toes over here into the ground, and then I'm gonna also press back. And this knee is gonna be lifted off the ground a little bit. Keep tucking the hip underneath and make an angry cat. And you're gonna hold this for the prescribed amount of time. And while you're holding here, your other leg, you can just you can have it on the toes over there, or you can have it flat. Once you finish your time, you're gonna bring your opposite leg forward. Same thing, drive the toes down and push back. Hold here for your prescribed time. Then knee goes forward some more. Drive down, push back. And as you're driving down and pushing back, just a reminder, make sure this femur is rotating in and keeping your knee over the big toe. That is important to do. To make sure you're keeping that push coming from the right muscles. You'll feel your quad burning. You may feel some shakiness. And then also all the way straight out. Like so. So what you don't want to do is be sure that you're not like this. You're not going to get any push. You want to be sure that you pull your shoulders to your hips, drive your toes down, and push back. Cool? Once you finish all the way straight, then you're going to work the same connections all the way back, same 4 positions. Here, here, and then from your start position.